Such a thought-provoking question. To begin with, the disclaimer: anything that's coming out of my mouth is purely speculative from this. My thought is that we will see more of Trump going towards the election because media is going to cover the trials, they're going to cover the campaign, and they're going to cover whatever comes out of his mouth on social media channels. Trump, like him or loathe him, has an ability to play to the media, stay above the fold. They are willing participants, and through that triangulation, if you will, they're going to cater millions of dollars of free coverage to him. So the question then becomes, with all that coverage, is his language going to change? My guess is the closer we get to the trials, the tonality of inflammatory language is going to tone down a little bit. Maybe not so much because of legal reasons, but of psychological reasons, that it can be held against him in a variety of ways. This leaves us with the actual question here. There are several scenarios. Let's just say Trump does get convicted. He ends up behind bars and he's ineligible to run. To begin with, the GOP is going to wash their hands because he's no longer a candidate. Therefore, they're just going to pick up bits and pieces of his rhetoric and perhaps of his agenda in hopes to capture some of his base and then bestow that upon whomever the candidate will be. My fear is that even though he's down in the polls, that it's going to be DeSantis, because there are only two people that can get us not just to the threshold of fascism, but into fascism proper. One is Trump, the other one is DeSantis. And secondarily, the question then becomes, what will his base do? I think presently they're paying attention to what happens with the J6 defendants, who are getting prison sentences of 10 years or greater. That is, I would call, a deterrent to doing something of that magnitude of stupidity again. Then again, of course, all bets are off with that crew, so who knows? Maybe I'm wrong, but I sure as hell hope that it's enough of a deterrent that they will not do something this dumb again. The other two options are, he gets convicted, remains eligible to run. Presently, the GOP is 50-50, and his base will certainly stand behind him. He's going to come out guns blazing. I was unjustly prosecuted, I'm the martyr, and we're going to have a real race on our hands in 2024. This is where I'm going back to Thomas Homer Dixon, the Canadian political scientist who forecast that the US will be flamingly fascist by 2030. If Trump gets away with this and remains eligible, we might get towards fascism much sooner than that. And that is where the Oval Office turns into a throne room, not a scenario that any one of us wants. The last option, which is just as bad, is that he gets some minor whatever sentence, or perhaps just, slap on the wrist and don't do it again. And he's going to capitalize on this just as well. And we're going to have the same horrible options and race, if you will, in 2024. So in summary, outside of him going away behind bars where he spends the rest of his life non-communicatively with his base, and that's the key ingredient, any other option is bad. And the reason why I'm saying non-communicatively is because his base is like an engine. They need the constant drip of outrage, of inflammatory language, of pointing towards an enemy that in all likelihood doesn't even exist. Turn off the valve, and the engine that keeps the base going will likely stall and the base may fizzle, unless there is a person to pick up the slack with a louder-than-life voice and keep that drip going. But that person presently is not around and doesn't have the captivating power that Trump has built over decades. So, not a good scenario outside of him going away. In summary, if you're watching this today, happiest of Labor Day weekends. Feel free to weigh in the comments, because this is again all speculative. I might be wildly off the mark. If so, let me know. Or if you agree, let me know. Or if you want to spin the ball further, go for it. Happy weekend.